All right, let's go to number 17, which is Kathy, who says, my husband yells and curses at me. I always tell him I don't deserve it, but he continues. Can this be corrected? If so, how? And would I dishonor God if I stop being physically intimate with him? Okay, Kathy, I don't know how to correct your husband. Nobody does. He's a jerk. He's just a jerk. I'm sorry. A husband that yells and curses at his wife is a horrible person. They are. And if you do it and you think it's no big deal, this is the way we always are, you have problems. Anybody listening to me now? You yell and curse at your wife, something's seriously wrong with you. And the way that you treat your beloved, the way that you treat the one who stands in the place of the church, in Christ in the church, he died for her, he gave himself for her, and you treat her that way. You yell and cuss at your spouse, husband or wife, something seriously wrong in your marriage. Does this mean you should get divorced? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you should stop, right? So yeah, he needs to stop. But the problem here is this. As a pastor, I've had many, many times, Kathy, where somebody like you would come to me and what they really want is they want me to help them change someone else. And I can't do that. I don't know how to change your husband. Obviously, you could have levels of confrontation, right? You confront him. You confront him with someone he respects, where you would address the issue. With your kids, you address the issue with your kids and him. You know, Dad, we all want to tell you have to stop talking to Mom like that. This is wrong. Or maybe you would, if he's a Christian and he goes to the church, you can bring it up with church leaders, which might help, or he might freak out and leave the church because I don't know what kind of guy he is. Okay, those are things you can do. But I don't know how to make him do anything or make you do anything. All I can do is give you counsel. So my counsel to you, Kathy, is remember the grace that God's given you and try to extend as much grace as possible to your husband. Okay? What he's doing is mean and wrong and horrible. He's wronging you. And when somebody's wronging you, that's when you can show them the love of Christ. That is the greatest time to show them the love of Christ. Where you don't, now you're not taking responsibility as though his yelling and cussing is your fault, because it's not. But you're not responding to it with more of the same. You're not going to respond in the flesh to him being in the flesh. This is your call as a Christian. Walk in the Spirit. This is not me giving the advice that if you're just a good wife, he won't do that. I don't believe that. Okay. This is my counsel to any Christian. When someone's hurting you, make sure that it doesn't cause you to be in the flesh and for you to sin. And this is probably not the advice you wanted, because your advice is you want advice to help change him. And I'm suggesting that this is my general advice to anybody in relationships, in marriage especially. We always want the other person to change, and God is always working in our hearts to change us. Let this change you. Let it cause you to be more gracious, you to be more humble. Finally, you said, can I stop being physically intimate with him? Based on what you've told me, I don't think that that's a good thing to do. I think you're going to exacerbate the problems then. And 1 Corinthians 7 suggests that husbands and wives shouldn't do this. They shouldn't withhold each other physically, because it just leads to more temptation and more problems. And but if the abuse becomes more and more extreme and dangerous, you can flee. But which would obviously involve not physical intimacy, but it's not just a tool to manipulate in that sense. So Kathy, yeah, those are my pieces of advice for you. Please sit down with other godly people in your circle who you can talk to about this. And my only counsel finally is this: Kathy, tell them the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Don't hold back anything because it feels embarrassing. Obviously, you're not going to share everything in a little YouTube chat comment. Thank you for sharing what you did, and I hope that the counsel helped you.